going on, everyone? My name is Nathan and this is my YouTube channel. And this is my 2001 Nissan 200SX. I absolutely love my S15. However, there are also some things I hate about it, and I'm going to go through reasons why you shouldn't buy an S chassis or an S15. Absolutely love my S15. However, there are also some things I absolutely hate about it. Here is 10 reasons why you shouldn't buy a Nissan Silvia. There's one thing people do like about S15s and Silvias in general is the SR engine. Now the SR20DE is a great engine, however, the one you want is obviously the SR20DET. Here is mine. It's a fully forged 2-litre Nitto pistons, Nitto rods. Basically it makes almost 300 kilowatts to the wheels and it's great. But being a Nissan, it definitely has its flaws, and I've experienced many of them. This brings me on to number one of the many reasons why you shouldn't buy an S15 or a Silvia. So like I said earlier, SR20s are great engines. However, a very known problem is this VCT solenoid or VCT gear, which basically, in a sense, is Nissan's version of VTEC, but not really. It advances the cam timing on the intake side to give you better throttle response. However, these love to rattle, and I'm on my third one. Being a drift car, people are bound to stress out steering systems and whatnot, and I've definitely done so on my S15 here. My power steering pump decided it wanted to stop working, and so I've taken the belt off and I have no power steering. Drifting is a great segue for me to demonstrate the second reason why you shouldn't buy an S chassis. Front bar is a little bit questionable, and that's because it is a replica aero bar, and if you know anything about Nissan parts, or especially S15 parts, is that aero bars are going for stupid prices right now. To pick an aero bar up, it's about $5,000 to $6,000, and so this one is a replica. It looks almost as good. The previous owner did some questionable things to it, like it used to have canards, if you can see there. You are bound to crash them. It's just something that happens in drifting, and it's a huge shame, but parts are stupid expensive for them. Fenders, bonnets, bumpers, and just the car itself. Like, since I've owned mine, it's doubled in value, which is good and bad. Now, expensive bumpers and parts set aside, S chassis have exploded in value. Amongst other Japanese cars, they've exploded in value in the last sort of 3-4 years. People love hype, and so they think that 40 or 50 grand is worth it for one of these, and I can tell you that it's not. Now, I didn't pay 50 or 40 grand. I didn't even pay 30 grand for this thing. I paid back in 2019 $22,000, which back then I thought was uber expensive. That is the third reason why you should not buy an S chassis. This badge right here, the Silvia badge, loosely translates to pull me over in Japanese. Obviously, I know this isn't true. However, it's just funny because whenever you see a highway patrol car pulling someone over, it's almost always going to be one of these. Luckily, I haven't experienced that. I've only been pulled over once, a month after I bought the car. I haven't experienced getting pulled over many times in this thing, and I keep my fingers crossed every time I pull that thing out of my garage. Police can be absolutely ruthless with these things because they're associated with hoons, they're associated with drifting, they're associated with like illegal modifications. I've tried to be subtle as I can with this thing, hence why I don't have a wing, I don't have massive sticky out wheels, just nice, clean, OEM plus, I'd like to say. But yeah, that's the fourth reason why you shouldn't buy an S chassis. Now, before I owned this car, I owned 2 German cars, specifically Volkswagens. I owned a Golf and I owned an R36 wagon. And there is one thing that I love about German cars, and that is their build quality and how sturdy they feel. This thing, complete polar opposite. The best way I can describe this car, and this is what I tell everyone, it is literally a tin can on wheels, specifically Pringles. It's a Pringles can on wheels. Now, some might say that it is an advantage that this car is so raw and visceral, and I'd have to agree with them on that. However, there is just some times where you just feel like just relaxing when you drive. And this thing is having none of that. It rattles, things are made cheaply in it, there's heaps of plastics. If you have any sort of exhaust on it, it's gonna like, you hear everything, it drones. It's not a cruising car. It's not a 300ZX, it's not a 350Z, 370Z, literally a little go-kart. Weighs 1200 kilos, there is not much sound deadening. It's gonna be a bit of a pain in the ass to drive. So if you love Pringles and you love the raw, visceral experience, then I couldn't recommend this S15 or Silvia enough. But yes, now it's a massive shame that these things do get crashed, and I cannot stress that enough to you guys. These things are properly dangerous. They have no traction control, no stability control, barely have airbags. Most people delete the factory steering wheel and put a Nardi on or a Momo or something like that, and that basically gets rid of any sort of safety features that Nissan did from the factory. A lot of people also delete ABS, which is basically the only safety feature this car comes with. So as the sun begins to set and it's extremely dark, I'd like to say that that is definitely one of the main reasons why you should not buy a Silvia. I'd like to say a massive thank you to everyone who watched this video, and stay tuned because I'm going to be making a 10 reasons why you should buy a Silvia or an S15 or any S chassis. I definitely don't regret buying this thing, and I don't think if you guys were to buy one, you'd regret it at all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.